Good morning, children. Sarah. So, let's get back to the part 2 of chapter number 3, Rolling the Countryside. Yes, it is the part 2 again. Now, many of you must be thinking that part 2 video we have already seen. Children, part 2 video was a description, that was a detailed descriptive discussion about the chapter, and in this I have covered, I'll be repeating the same topics with the definitions, and you'll be writing these definitions from these slides only. I repeat, you'll be writing these definitions from these slides only. In part 2 it was the, you can say, introduction as well as the explanation, and in this is just a sequel, it's not part 3, because if it would have been part 3 I would have covered a different topic, but the topics are same. This presentation deals with the explanation of what we have discussed in the last class, plus what will you write in your notebooks, that is the definitions provided in these slides will be explained to you, and you have to write them in your fair notebooks as well. Okay children, I hope this instruction of mine is clear for you. So, starting with the definitions, define the terms. This is define the following terms. First, countryside, Mehalwari system, Roeti, Vat, Satta. Children, if you have attended the last class and you have understood the things, so you must be aware of these terms very clearly without any fault. Fine. So, next slide, that is the definition of indigo. Children, when we talk about the time period of settlement, that is when taxes were imposed on the Indian people, the Indian farmers, basically the Indian farmers by the Britishers over there at that time, indigo is the main culprit, you can say, or indigo plays an important role, a vital role in the formation, or you can say deformity of the Indian agriculture. It was, you can say, a particular ingredient which spoiled the dishes. Okay, I am not talking about any dish or any recipe, but this is an example. I am trying to correlate the drawbacks of indigo. Indigo was such a plant, or you can say the plantation of indigo resulted with massive destruction, or you can say deteriorating results. Otherwise, what is indigo? Indigo is a plant that produces rich blue color that is used for dyeing as well. Okay, plantations, next term is plantations, a large farm operated by a planter employing various forms of forced labor. Next term, woad, a plant that produces violet and blue dyes. I repeat, a plant that produces violet and blue dyes. Next slide, Latiola, it's Latialo, that is the lathi wielding strong man maintained by the planters. Now, who are the lathi people, why the people were used, and who were the planters? Main question, just wait and then you'll come to know. Next, slave, I hope you all know who is a slave. A person, if not going by the technical definition, slave, a person who works under someone, who works under some leader, that is, he is not independent, he cannot perform his activities or duties independently and individually for himself. His activities are operated by somebody else, that is his, either his master or leader. Fine. So what is the technical definition? A person who is owned by someone else, that is the slave, that is the slave owner. And a slave enjoys no freedom and is compelled to work for the master. Children, over here The spelling of slave, you can see, is wrong. It's SLAVE, slave. Fine. It is SLAVE, slaves master. Next, Bhiga, a unit of measurement of land. Satta, a contract or agreement. Vat, a fermenting or storage vessel. Three different terms. Bhiga is a measurement of land. Satta is Satta, you can say, a contract or an agreement between the planter or the owner, planter and the farmer. Vat is a fermenting storage vessel. Gumasthas, that is agents of planters. Now, one important thing, that is important dates and dateline. This is the basic information that has to be thorough by you. You need to be thorough with it. 1770, that is a terrible famine hit Bengal. 1786 to 1793, Lord Cornwallis was the Governor General of India. 1793, Lord Cornwallis introduced the permanent settlement, and 1819 to 1826, Thomas Munro was the Governor General of Madras. Children, these slides comprise of the information that is very important. These slides should be maintained, should be written. You have to write this work, you have to jot down this work in your fair notebooks with the date of this video. This date will be on the date which you get the video. You have to put the same date in your notebooks. So children, after the introduction of these particular definitions, I would like to go back to the starting. When we are talking about countryside, you all know what is countryside. Countryside means the rural areas. When we are talking about Mehelwari system, now what is the Mehelwari system, which I have not actually given to you? See children, first of all, why these systems were required, why Mehelwari, Rohitwari, Rohiti, why actually they were introduced. See children, what happened when we have to inculcate profit, a habit, or you can say, if I quote you something like from a live example. Suppose if a person who is not your leader and he tries to impose powers on you, what will you do? You will not actually obey him, because he's not your leader, right? So what that person will do in order to make you do his or her own work, first thing, either he will be polite, humble, so that he can take work from you, or he'll try to buy you. That is, he'll try to buy you. What do you mean by buy you? He will try to take advantage of the situation where you are weak and try to get hold of you. This was the situation of the British people, who tried to and who successfully got hold of the Indian farmers. They promised heavy ransom amounts to the Indian farmers, and they said that they will become rich within a couple of short duration. Fine. But indeed what happened was a havoc. It was a massive destruction on a large scale with the, you can say, consent of the farmers. Now what was the factor, or what was the reason which actually contributed towards this devastating state of situation? It was the indigo plantation. Now, why indigo plantation? Nobody forced, nobody killed anyone. Why only indigo plantation? By whom it was done and for whom it was done? It was done by the Indian farmers. Fine. Point number one. It was done by the Indian farmers. And for whom it was done? It was done for the Britishers. Now let's just get back to the text, that how and what happened, children. First and the foremost thing is that when the company became the divan. When did it happen actually? The company became the divan after defeating Sirajuddaulah, that is, and the Bengal's Nawabs of Bengal, after the Battle of Palasi and Battle of Buxar successively. After winning those battles, the British caught hold of the Bengal territory with full hold and command. Now, after getting their whole command, what will happen? When once you become the monitor of the class, what do you do? Do you actually listen to anyone? No, you do not listen to anyone. You really do not. You do not even bother, except the teacher, right? Except your class teacher or the subject teacher. You have hold on your class. Similarly, the Britishers got the hold of the territory, Bengal, that is Bengal territory, and this hold proved to be so much devastating that the results were very severe. I repeat that the results were very severe. Now, what happened next? The company introduced permanent settlement. That is, so when permanent settlement was introduced. Now, what was permanent settlement? Again, the getting to the text, and then I'll give you the explanation. The Rajas and Talukdars were asked to collect rent from the peasants and pay revenue to the company. It was felt that this would ensure a regular flow of revenue into the company's treasury, and at the same time encourage the zamindars to invest in improving the land. By the first decade, the prices in the market rose and cultivation slowly expanded. The permanent settlement was oppressive for the cultivators. Their rent they paid to the zamindars was high, and their right on the land was insecure. So, what was it? The zamindars had the hold of land as well as money. Rajas and talukdars had the command on the, you can say, people province as well as the taxes. Now, what the British people did, the Britishers actually commanded the Rajas as well as the Talukdars to collect taxes, because there could not be any denial for the payment of taxes if this command was issued by the king or the Rajas. But instead, if British officials would have imposed this particular command order to the people of to the Indian people, nobody would have agreed. That was the loophole, that is, you can say, that was the loose point, and that was the wrong step which the Rajas and Talukdars, out of carelessness, did. This was the basic carelessness which was carried out by the Rajas as well as the Talukdars, and the Indian people suffered on a large scale just because of that. Now, what kind of cultivation was done, and which crop was grown? The crop that was grown was indigo. Indigo was grown as a commercial crop, and the British planters thought that it would rise the Indian markets, that is, it will bring amount in loads, that is, it will bring abundant amount, and their treasures will fill. That is, in order to fill their own treasures, they played with the future of the Indian land, that is, the farmers. The Indian land refers to the land for cultivation, that was the land of the farmers and the peasants. But they could not understand to the results or the consequences which would be faced by the Indian peasants, cultivators or farmers after the cultivation as well as the plantation of indigo. Now, indigo was a plant which was used to dye. Okay, dye clothes and dye the clothes, paper, etc. but it was having the poisonous intensity other than any other crop. Once indigo was grown on any fertile land, it went barren. It any crop could not be cultivated for years on the land on which indigo was cultivated. Fine. Now, next was how the land was. There were three, four times. There were different patterns in which settlements or the systems were created, in which land, farmer, and the revenue fixed plus tax paid by the farmer was decided. So hereover we have four characters. That is, one is land owned by, land sold or rented, then who owned it, and how it was managed. Fine. If we talk about the Mehalwari system, I have already told you. And if we talk about Rohitwari system, because it was made directly, the Rohitwari settlement or the Rohitwari system was made directly with the cultivators, that is the Ryots. The cultivators were known as the Ryots, and it was initiated by Captain Alexander Red and developed by Thomas Munro. This system was gradually extended all over South India. I repeat, all over South India. Now, by late 18th century, what happened? The company was trying to expand the cultivation of opium and indigo. Opium is again another poisonous crop which made the fertile land barren. Indian indigo was in great demand in Europe. Hence, the company in India looked for ways to expand the area under indigo cultivation. As indigo trade grew, commercial agents and officials of the company began investing in indigo production. Now, what happened? When people came to know, Britishers came to know that indigo had a bright future, they started investing in land, first in the land, Indian land, and the indigo plantation. Fine. So, that's it for today. We'll continue with the Munro system and other 2-3 topics more in the next class. Thank you, children. Saira.